everybody, welcome to another episode of Widgets and Wonders. This is my weekly show about great products from small companies. Now this week we're going to take a look at 3 pre-painted terrain sets from GameMat.eu. We've got some Highland rocks, of course sort of like a almost High Sierras kind of like scape, which comes ready to go out of the box. We got some desert rocks to go with their, I think it's Sands of Time mat. Battlegrounds is the mat that we'll be using the Highland rocks on. And then finally we have some 15 mil industrial terrain, an interesting choice getting in the 15 mil world, which could easily be used for the new Halo ground combat game, could easily be used for heavy gear. Lots of options here, which I'll show off on the new industrial Imperial base mat. So without further ado, let's take a look at these new pre-painted terrain sets that you can quickly use to fill up your tables with terrain that's ready to go out of the box. So here's the first set called Highlands, and I have it later on another GameMat mat called Battleground. And this is all pre-painted. This is exactly how it came out of the box. So I've done nothing to alter this at all, and it looks exactly like this when you open the shipping container. So first thing I'll say about these is you do get a good amount. So the big pieces are all unique, which I like, except for one. So there's a duplication here of these guys, but they're a weird enough shape that you just spin them around, it doesn't look too weird. And the really big ones are all unique. So you're not having everything sort of like duplicated, which is kind of nice. Your rocks look fairly unique across the table. And then you get lots of nice little scatter. So you get these little guys here. And it's pretty table filling. So this is a 6x4 mat, and it's enough blocking terrain that, I mean, you'd want some trees and stuff on here, but I'd happily play a game on this and like a game of 40K and not feel like this was too little terrain. Like the big pieces are blocking enough that you've got some places to hide, you got some stuff you can do. And the second thing I'll say about this is the painting on it is fantastic. For pre-painted out of the factory painting, the multiple tones are really nice, like the color selection is great. Like, I actually thought these were rocks, but they're not. They're cast resin. When I got these out of the box, I just thought they'd sent me a bunch of actual rocks. But they've really knocked out of the park the colors for these particular kits. Having been to, like, the Sierras and Northern Ontario, Northern Canada, where there's lots of exposed rocky outcropping like this, these colors are pretty spot on. This looks like granite. Like, this looks like weathered granite. And I'm not going to repaint this stuff. A lot of times you'll see me repaint, pre-paint the terrain that comes in just to like touch it up and make it a little bit nicer, and I don't think I have to do anything with these. These are perfect. This is out of the box and it looks really, really good. The only thing I might do is just put another tone on the vegetation. The vegetation is probably 2 tones, but they're really close, so it doesn't look super sort of like highlighted. Like you can see here, if I compare it to stuff on the mat, there's another little note higher that I could go, and because it really matches this mat really well, I'll probably do that. I'll probably just take this tone right here and then give it like a really light dry brush on top just to give it a little pop. But the other ones, like there's some stuff over here that's kind of like brown and green, really nicely done, 2-toned. I think it's just these 3 rocks probably I'll touch up a little bit with dry brushing, but for the most part, painting for pre-painted, the painting is phenomenal. Super impressed by it. So there it is. There's the Highland stuff on the Battleground mat. Let's take a look at the desert rocks. And here's the next set, which is the Desert Rocks on the Sands of Time mat from GameMat.eu. And we've got, again, some different variations. There's some duplication in this one, a bit more than there was in the previous one. So the small rocks, just because of this type of shapes of them, they're a little more sort of like obviously duplicated. And there's 2 sets of spires and 2 archways that are the same. But you've got a table mountain. You've got some really nice painting yet again. If you look at the painting detail on the mountain, they've done some stratification, which I think is great because that is a natural rock formation. The sedimentation would sort of go down and you would have these different colors and lines as the erosion basically makes these mountains form. And it is a good amount of terrain, so it will fill up a desert table. Not too much compared to, I think, the Highlands map, but enough that you definitely got all the variation you want, and some cool sort of like detail on your table. Because of course deserts are going to have a little less stuff than the Highlands would, probably cluttering them up, but wonderfully painted out of the box. Again, I gotta say the paint jobs on these are really top notch for these 2 sets in particular. And yeah, you've got a nice variation of stuff, and it's relatively table filling, so a good addition to your desert mats if you have one. And here's the 15 mil industrial set on the new Imperial base mat from GameMat.eu, and this time, because it's 15 mil, it's not in 28 mil. Just for reference, I put down some heavy gear minis, so you can see some heavy gear infantry here on top of it. And another heavy gear terrain piece next to it, and then this is one of the high performance gears. This is a Black Mamba and a brawler back mamba just hanging out next to it, so you can see sort of the general height and scale. There's basically 3 different kinds of pieces. There's a large tower, a small base, and a barricade. Although the barricade has a gun slit in it that is basically tall enough for a mech, not for a dude. Whereas the guys on top of this one, of course, are in 15 mil, so they're shooting behind the shooting parapets. You could easily get away with using this in 28 mil. You could just have these be 28 mil buildings as well, and these could be 28 mil barricades. They're about the size of a Aegis defense line, so there's no super discerning features that mark these out as being 15 mil. This little stairway right here going down is probably the only thing that would mark that out as being of a different scale, and you could just have them as tech pieces too. So whether you want to use it for a 28 mil game, or you're looking for some 15 mil pre-painted terrain, some nice simple sets here, just done gray with a nice light gray dry brush, ready to rock and roll out of the box. And there's another great pre-painted terrain option from GameMat. So if you guys are looking to fill up your tables real fast, stuff that's ready to go out of the box, you've got 3 different styles here that will be great for all kinds of different game tables. So the Highlands, the Desert Rocks, and of course some 15 mil sci-fi terrain options ready to go for all kinds of different games that you guys might want to be playing. So I'll link them in the video description below. And if you know of a great product from a small company that you think deserves more attention, you can have them email me at guerrillaminiaturegames@gmail.com or Facebook message me at facebook.com/outofthebasement into the streets, and I'll do my best to put it in front of as many people as possible. So we'll see you next time for more Widgets and Wonders. We're going to check out some upcoming stuff from GameMat, stuff that's not released yet. You get a preview of some 2D terrain stuff that they'll have for some precision modeling or precision measuring games like War Machine or Guild Ball. And we'll see you for that next week. Till then, Mash, have a game.